Hey, I'm Roxie with Roxie's Broadway Breakdown. Welcome back to my channel where it's always about musical theater. And today I thought I would do a fun video about most doomed couples in musical theater. I have done a video about my favorite couples in musical theater. Some ended up happy, some didn't, but I thought I'd do a fun one about the most doomed ones. So let's break this down, starting with Heathers and JD and Veronica. Yeah, Veronica is this girl who just wants to be popular in school and falls in with a group, the Heathers. Along the way, she meets this guy, JD, who's brooding and angst-filled and kind of cool and mysterious and cute, but not in like the Edward Cullen kind of brooding, angst-filled, cool, cute, mysterious kind of way. No, JD is just a psychopath, let's kill everybody we don't like kind of way. In the end, he ends up self-destructing and luckily doesn't take Veronica with him. She gets to be 17 and onward. So luckily for Veronica, that ends up happy for her, but not so much for JD. They are doomed. Aida and Radames in Aida. This is a very convoluted musical. I don't know that it's one of my favorites, but the plot is very convoluted. So Aida is a Nubian princess, and Radames is like captain of the Egyptian guard, and he ends up taking Aida by mistake as a slave. They eventually fall in love with each other, even though he's engaged to an Egyptian princess. Through a series of events, he finds out her true identity. By then, they end up getting tried for treason by the Egyptian crown. They're willing to take their punishment, and they end up getting buried alive together in a tomb. So they end up together, and they're willing to, you know, take the punishment and, you know, sacrifice themselves for their love. But to me, the relationship is just doomed from the beginning. Last 5 years, Jamie and Kathy. So, you know it's doomed because it starts off with their divorce. Jamie tells a story from like the beginning to the end of like how they got to their divorce. And Kathy tells it from the end to the beginning. Like, we're divorced, but let me tell you how it started. They only meet in the middle with their wedding song, and they just can never really get like together in their whole relationship. Like, she's a actress, model, he's a writer. They just can never really seem to find themselves on the same page. All right. Eponine and Marius. It's that classic story of unrequited love. Eponine just loves Marius, and it's just on my own, but I love him. Yeah, he just loves Cosette. And he never really finds out her true feelings till she's dying in his arms at the barricade and a little fall of rain. It's like, sorry, girlfriend, he just never got it, you know. He was just frenzies with you. And Juliet. Okay, so Romeo and Juliet. I just saw this on tour, and it was a fun, light, bouncy musical. I don't know, maybe I wanted more from the ending, or it's about Anne Hathaway and convinces Shakespeare, don't kill Juliet off at the end of Romeo and Juliet. So they bring her back. She kind of has a life. She goes out on her own. She finds new adventures and whatnot. And then Shakespeare's like, no, let's bring Romeo back. So they do end up together. Everybody has like a happy ending. And Romeo's like, great, we're back together. And Juliet's like, well, as a trial basis. I don't know. I felt like the writers just wanted them to end up happy together. Since they didn't get their happy ending in Romeo and Juliet, they felt like, no, they have to end up happy this time. And I thought, do they need the happy ending? I mean, couldn't she just end up like, I don't need you, I can just go about my own business and find my own life? but like I said, it's a musical, and so maybe they just felt like, no, they need their happy ending. I just feel like they were doomed from the beginning. I mean, Shakespeare wrote that they were star-crossed lovers from the beginning. Although my husband and I have had this debate before, what star-crossed means. He has always felt like star-crossed is a good thing. Like, it was their fate to meet and fate to be together. That their stars were aligned forever to meet and be together. I've always taken star-crossed to mean no, that it was their fate to meet, but it wasn't their fate to be together, that the stars didn't line up for them right, that's why they were doomed. I don't know, but he's a glass half full, and I'm kind of a glass half empty kind of gal, so let me know what you think was star-crossed. All right, 6, The Wives. I found that there's a lot of, British, English kind of set musicals that, considering it's jolly old England, not so jolly. So we've got divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. Yeah, none of these wives get a happy ending. Jane Seymour's all, oh, but he loved me. But yeah, girl, only because you had a son. If not, you'd have been divorced or beheaded. Yeah, because Henry is an ass. So, and the last Catherine only gets to survive because she literally outlived him. So, but I do love that musical. I do. All right, Oliver, Nancy and Bill Sykes. Yeah, he's abusive. She's all, as long as he needs me. No, girl, he does not need you. Get away from him. And unfortunately, she doesn't. And he, Nancy. So poor Nancy. She just never gets it. Jekyll and Hyde, set in London. Yeah, I mean, Jekyll, he starts out, he's this really brilliant scientist, and he's nice, and, but Emma, it's like, come on. Night after night, he's locking himself away in his laboratory, and he's fixated on this experiment, and then he starts disappearing night after night, and not only is he changing into Mr. Hyde, but he's like, even Dr. Jekyll's kind of changing, and he keeps pushing her away, like, I don't need to be with you, don't see me, I'm working. It's like, Emma, the red flags are there, for God's sakes, look at it. Doomed. And then he ends up to his demise. Sweeney Todd. Sweeney, again, he comes back to London with one thought on his mind, revenge. But, Mrs. Lovett kind of has a crush on Sweeney. So she's willing to put up with the revenge. And she's like, well, I mean, since you're killing people and I need meat from my pies. And it's a partnership that works until he's like, hang on, you didn't tell me that my wife is still alive. And then he just waltzes her on into the oven. Doomed. And then you've got the Phantom and Christine. I mean, this is such a tragic story. I mean, he had a tragic life. He was deformed. He was used as like a sideshow attraction. He ends up living underneath the Paris Opera House. I mean, he is an inventor, a creator, a magician. He's talented. He just absolutely falls in love with Christine. She never really falls in love with him. I mean, she pities him. She's afraid of him. She's engaged to Rawl. I mean, she does warm to him. With her, she warms to him and she pities him, and there's a kind of love there, but not like a romantic love, not that I ever see on her side, but she doesn't want anything to happen to him either. But then Rawl finds her in his lair, and he brings the mob after him, and then he disappears mysteriously because he's a phantom, and then we just see the rose, and I was like, where did he go? And I don't know, because he's a phantom. So, I mean, it's just, again, doomed. That is a never meant to be relationship. So, there you go. There are my choices. I'm sure you can think of a few relationships in musicals that are doomed. They don't always get their happy ever after. So let me know in the comments below what you think. And until next time.